Alright guys, it's Monday, that means it's time for a Q&A. So the rules are very simple. All you have to do is leave your questions in the comment section below, and hopefully they'll be answered on next week's show. So we're going to kick this week off with a question from the Demo Scout, who says, Q&A. So I've been playing a bit of Destiny 2's beta, and I thought that it was boring, but the one part I really liked is the hub world. It's fun to interact with others in there, and playing soccer was a blast, although the physics for the ball was kind of broken, and that got me thinking, what if Halo 6 had a hub world? It would be so cool having everybody teabagging, playing with a soccer ball, trash talking, discussing about Halo or whatever, etc. Would a hub world be cool for Halo 6? So here are my thoughts on some kind of hub world system for Halo 6. I don't know that it would really make a lot of sense for Halo, at least, because here's the thing also is, we can say all sorts of things that, wouldn't this be cool, wouldn't that be cool and stuff, but we also do need to remember the DNA of the franchise. Sort of like, let's take the new Doom game. Would a dialogue system be cool in the next Doom game if, you know, the current Doom game gets a sequel? Wouldn't it be awesome if, as Doom guy, we could have a complex Skyrim-esque dialogue system? I mean, yeah, on paper that would be cool, but does it fit with the DNA of the franchise? With Halo, something that you see like in Destiny with a hub world where you can run around kicking soccer balls and stuff, that sounds like a custom game to me. That sounds like something that you could load up in the custom games browser and just find. Some kind of hub world system. Halo isn't really a MMO-like video game. You know, it's an online shooter with a campaign, and it's important that Halo doesn't lose some of that. Like, it's important that Halo doubles down on what it is, not what it isn't, which is unfortunately a problem that newer Halo games have really been suffering from, especially Halo 5 with those just bizarrely misguided guns down missions that just really did not belong in Halo. But, you know, those are just my thoughts on it. So the next question comes from Shadow, who says, do you think they will make a third Titanfall game? So here are my thoughts on the Titanfall franchise. The first Titanfall game I loved. I thought there were a few problems with the progression system, but overall I thought it was a very good game. The second game, I think, is no joke one of the best games I've ever played. The movement in it is addictive, and just, it's been so refined. It is such a blast to play. It also has free DLC, so there's been no splitting of the player base, and recently they added the Frontier Defense Horde mode, which honestly feels like everything that Firefight probably should have been in Halo 5 in terms of how they design it. It's been a blast, I love it, but here's the problem with Titanfall 2. So EA, in all of their wise knowledge, they decided to release Titanfall 2 a week after Battlefield 1. And that, of course, was also before Infinite Warfare released. And obviously, Infinite Warfare, we can all joke about it, but Infinite Warfare was competition. It did sell well. Not as well as previous Call of Duty games, but it still topped the charts. So EA decided to cram Titanfall 2 in between two gigantic shooters, and naturally Titanfall 2 undersold because people bought Battlefield 1 and Infinite Warfare. So I'm worried that EA will take away from that the wrong, they'll gather the wrong conclusions. They'll say, oh, it didn't sell well, people don't want another Titanfall game, and it's like, no, you guys screwed up, that's why it didn't sell well. And what's very interesting is Titanfall 2, although it did not sell well, it has been sustaining a player base. Like, the player base isn't dropping and dropping and dropping like the first game. Obviously, there is the drop-off that every AAA game sees, where it's, okay, like, 5 million people buy a game at launch, there's probably only going to be about 40,000 within a couple of months playing. Titanfall 2 had that natural player drop-off, but it's been sustaining its player base since the drop-off, and people really like the game. The community for Titanfall 2 is enthusiastic about the game, and I love Titanfall 2. I make sure that I don't miss any of the happy hours so I can get my extra merits. So, you know, I'm hoping that we get a Titanfall 3, but I'm worried that EA took away from it the wrong conclusions about why it undersold. The next question comes from Christian Hughes, who says, Q&A. Hey Taras, I was wondering, seeing as there's little really going on lately in the Halo-verse, what games have you been playing to keep up the variety and not get bored? Also, in regards to the Halo-verse, what do you think will happen when with the Banished campaign in Awakening the Nightmare? How do you think the Flood survived? Hope I get picked, man. Great channel, great content. What I've been playing actually recently in order to kind of, you know, spice things up, I've been, well, a lot of Titanfall 2. I've also been playing some Battlefield 1 with my girlfriend. I've also been spending a lot of time in Call of Duty Zombie mode. And actually recently I've been getting a bit into Age of Empires 2 HD, which I picked up from Steam. And then in regards to the Banished campaign, I think I actually said last video, with the Flood and how they survived, I honestly don't think that matters, because here's the thing, the Flood, it's just whatever. We can say, oh, there was some testing facility beneath it. Like, ultimately, I'm not too worried about how the Flood survived. I don't want to theorize and stuff, because that is such an easy thing that they can just dismiss, you know? I mean, right off the bat, I can just say, there was an underground testing facility on the Ark, and Chief didn't know about it, and it hid some Flood samples, blah, blah, you know, there we go. We've already come up with an excuse for why the Flood can return. Unfortunately, what I think is going to happen with the Banished campaign, because as far as we know, there's only 2 CGI blur cutscenes, I literally just think it's going to be fan service, where it's like, oh my god, the Flood are back, and we stop them. And then that's it. That's the end of the Banished campaign. Hopefully, there's more to it than that. There probably will be more to it than that. What I'm hoping will happen with the story is, obviously, the Flood will be the main threat, but I'm hoping that there will be a secondary threat, kind of actually similar to the original Halo trilogy, where you had 2 antagonistic forces that you were fighting against. You were trying to stop the Covenant from activating the rings, as well as stopping the Flood. You know, having 2 forces that you're fighting against, just to keep things interesting. And I hope that that's what they do with the Banished campaign. I hope that, you know, maybe we're trying to stop Captain Cutter or something, you know, trying to get revenge for Captain Cutter blowing up our ship, as well as trying to contain the Flood outbreak. You know, just keep things a little bit interesting. But those are just my thoughts on it. So here's a bit of a different question. This question comes from Ragnarok675, who says, do you have any thoughts on Sonic Forces? Asking because I can't think of anything else and I wanted to try to ask something. So, the Sonic franchise. I grew up playing Sonic, and even today I'm still a Sonic fan, even if the Sonic franchise really doesn't want me to be one. The Sonic series, obviously notorious for just way more bad games than actual good games. Every once in a while, you get a really good, solid 3D or 2D platformer from the Sonic series, but for the most part, it's a lot of garbage. And Sonic Forces has kind of, it's looking up to be another one of the few gems in between the garbage, and I'm actually really optimistic about it. And man, I hope it's good, because so far what they've been showing looks good. It looks fun. The modern day Sonic games, what Sega had been kind of experimenting with, because like, here's the problem with Sonic. I think that he's always played better in a 2D environment than a 3D environment, and their solution to that for the 3D games is kind of like, okay, why don't we try to take a racing game and smash it with 3D platforming? And that's kind of their solution. Sonic levels now in the 3D games play very similarly to a racetrack. It kind of plays like a racing game. You hold down the X button and Sonic will start running at maximum speed. You know, you've got the timer is more focused on now, and so essentially you're just trying to beat your last time on the level. You see if you can beat the level as quick as you can, and it looks like they're going to be doing that for this game too. They dropped it for a couple of garbage games like Sonic Boom, but you know, I'm hoping it's good. It looks good, but you know, those are just my thoughts. So the next question comes from Noah Fisher, who says, Halo Q&A, I've been a subscriber since you had 18,000, and I'm hoping to get my question answered. What are your opinions on Halo 3 being backwards compatible? What do you think this means for the MCC? If this is 343's way of saying, sorry, we didn't make Halo 3 Anniversary, do you think Halo 3's population will rise up to, I don't know, 25,000? So if it does, that would be freaking awesome. So here are my thoughts on Halo 3 being backwards compatible. And the reason I picked this question is because it is a very important one to be asking. What does this mean for the Master Chief Collection? So the cynical side of me, the kind of like, you know, they always look at the downside of things. That part of me is suspecting that it's behind the scenes. They can't come up with a cost-effective and also quick way to fix the Master Chief Collection. Because here's something to consider. The Master Chief Collection, that's 6 game engines. Because you've got Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, ODST, and Halo 2 Anniversary Multiplayer, which all run on different game engines. And so what you've got to do then is 343 is working on the next Halo game, Halo 6, and if they want to meet their deadline, they need to keep working on it, which means if the Master Chief Collection is to be fixed, they would probably need to outsource the patch to an outside studio, which would mean you'd have to find some kind of studio outside. Certain Affinity is currently busy, same with Saber Interactive. So those 2 studios are off the table. So you're going to have to find somebody who's unfamiliar with the Halo engine, bring them in, spend about a year training them on 6 different game engines, and then they would have to QA test patches and stuff, and also make sure that they don't accidentally fix bugs that were in the original versions of the games. So by the time that a patch would probably be ready, which would be maybe, if we were lucky, 2 years, it would be close to 2020. And does the Master Chief Collection really matter in the year 2020? Like, would it be worth the cost fixing it? Morally, in my opinion, oh yeah, no, they owe us a patch. They shouldn't have released it broken. But in terms of the corporate suit business sense, you know, the head honchos over at Microsoft, like, thinking about profits and money and blah, blah, blah. Like, would that be smart for them? No, it wouldn't be smart. They wouldn't see a return on their investment. The Master Chief Collection doesn't matter. It would just be fixed, and that would be it. The population would still be low, and probably the next console would be on the horizon. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is going on behind the scenes, and I wonder if Halo 3 backwards compatible is kind of there. We're sorry, we can't figure out a good way to fix the Master Chief Collection. And I don't think that that's good enough. I see a lot of people saying, oh, stop whining about the Master Chief Collection. It's been so-and-so amount of years. No, never stop whining about it, in my opinion. Because here's the thing. That is still a broken product that is being sold on the marketplace as if it is unbroken. If Microsoft will not fix it, then it needs to be removed from the marketplace because it's a defective product. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. And since they are not removing it from the marketplace, they think it is worth being sold. And it is very, very broken. And if they want it sold, it needs to be fixed. So those are just my thoughts on it. So no, you know, don't stop, you know, with the MCC memes on Twitter and stuff. You know, you guys go ahead. You guys are in the right, all right? That game does need to be fixed. And also, on a side note, so all of you, I have a request for you guys. Here is my gamertag. I want you guys to send me Master Chief Collection related bugs and issues, okay? Any that you have, because I am organizing a video about that and Halo 3 in the future. So I am going to need lots of footage of bugs from the Master Chief Collection, alright? Lots of different glitches and stuff. You know, the pressed right trigger to fire machine gun glitch. I'm going to need to see stuff like Halo 3 physics breaking. I'm going to need to see, you know how on the pit in Halo 4 multiplayer, there's that one room where if you go in, it disables all sound effects for your guns, like all that kind of stuff. Just send me your clips via Xbox Live. But here is what is going on with Halo 3 and how I think it will do, in my opinion. I do not think that Halo 3 will see like this revival, this renaissance where people are suddenly playing it again and it's popular for the next 10 years or so. What I think will happen is people will get on it, and for the first month or so, it'll be ridiculously popular, and then it'll drop off naturally. Because here's the thing, people will get on. It runs at 30 frames per second, which is pretty bad. It runs at sub HD, which is also pretty bad, you know, the original version of Halo 3. And I think what's going to happen with a lot of people is they're going to get on, relive a lot of their memories and stuff, just have a blast now that the game is kind of alive again, and then they're going to move on to some of the other games that are going to be releasing this holiday, such as Destiny 2, Call of Duty World War II, Battlefront 2, and so on. And I think that here's the thing for a lot of people. A lot of the Halo 5 advocates say, oh, all of you guys just want Halo 3 over and over and over again, and they're re-releasing Halo 3 on Xbox One, so just go play that. No, we don't want Halo 3 over and over and over again. What we want is a classic-style Halo game in the future. Halo 3 Backwards Compatible is going to be great, but that's not what we're looking for going forward. We want the series to return to its classic roots. We want to see a new game designed in that style of gameplay. So Halo 3 Backwards Compatible is going to be really fun to revisit, but that's not going to quench the thirst that we have for a new style of classical Halo game. And so that's what I think is going to happen with Halo 3 Backwards Compatible. And so finally, we are going to end this Q&A with a question from Dark Cheese, who says, Halo Q&A, my name is Jerome. So every time it's said in this video, it makes me freak out. Anyways, on to the question. What got you into Halo in the first place, and why did you start this channel? Sorry if this has been asked before. I am a new sub. Keep up the great work. So, what got me into Halo? Well, actually, Halo was my first ever first-person shooter. So I remember, I've always known about Halo and stuff. In fact, I used to watch my friends play Halo 2 a lot on their original Xbox. I never got it because I grew up playing for the most part on the PC. I didn't really own a lot of consoles outside of, I did own a Dreamcast. I owned a Super Nintendo. I owned I didn't own an N64. Although, no, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I'll have to dig through. I have a closet of just old game consoles that I've collected over the years and stuff. So maybe I do actually have an old N64 that I did own that I'm just misremembering now. So what happened was I would grow up watching my friends playing Halo 2 on the original Xbox. I've even played it a few times on the original Xbox. It was difficult playing with a controller, but like I was always super into the Halo series, even though I wasn't good at it. Until one day I saw that my sister was playing what looked like Halo on the PC, and she actually had a PC build of Halo Combat Evolved. I think it was back when Halo Combat Evolved released on the PC. So I watched her play that a lot. At the time, she wouldn't let me play it because she bought it herself. Eventually, I begged my mom, and my mom bought me Halo 2 for the PC. And so that was my actual first ever Halo game that I owned, was Halo 2 for the PC. And then, of course, my sister, she began leaving for college and stuff in the later years, and so I got her copy of Halo Combat Evolved, and I fell in love with that. Combat Evolved I loved to death, and eventually in, I want to say 2008 or 2009, my mom got me an Xbox 360, and it was, you know, my first next-gen console at the time, and she got me a copy of Halo 3, and I was over the moon. I played Halo 3's campaign over and over and over again. The Forge mode I was addicted to because I did not have Xbox Live at the time, because it was the model of Xbox that didn't come built in with wireless Wi-Fi capabilities. So you literally had to go to the store and buy this little antenna thing to stick onto the back of your console. It was pretty ridiculous back then. And so, yeah, that was my experience with the Halo series. It wasn't until, I want to say, 2010, 2011, maybe, when I finally got Xbox Live. And sadly, that's kind of around the time when the Halo series began just kind of dying off online. Reach, I wasn't too into the online for that game, but man, the Forge I was okay with. I loved the Forge so much. So many hours wasted in Halo Reach's Forge mode. But yeah, no, lots of very good memories with the Halo series. It might be worth a video actually in the future, just going through some of my memories with the Halo series. But, you know, and with my channel, what kind of happened was, like everybody, I started a YouTube channel, and I didn't really have any big ambitions for it. It was just, I'm going to upload what I want. So I uploaded a variety of things. Dead Rising, Battlefield, Call of Duty Zombies, Halo, Dead Island, like anything. I just uploaded if I felt like it. And with Halo 4, when it first came out, I really disliked the game at first, but then I want to say 7 or 6 months after the game released, it was around the time when the new batch of Spartan Ops missions were released. I kind of had this awakening where I was like, oh my god, like suddenly it snapped. Or not snapped, no, well, I mean, I probably did snap according to some people, but something clicked, and suddenly I got Halo 4's story, and suddenly I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really cool. And so I started making videos about Halo 4 and why I liked the game and stuff, and that's around when my channel began to get going. It was around the 1,000 mark for my channel, and I started to pick up just a Halo following, and so I was like, alright, I guess it wouldn't make a lot of sense if I just started uploading random whatever. So I just began focusing on uploading Halo content just to keep some consistency, and well, here we are now. So I hope that answers your question, man. And guys, thank you so much for asking your questions. This was a lot of fun to do. Leave any kind of question you want. Doesn't need to be Halo related, and hopefully we'll see it answered on next week's show. And do not forget, guys, to send me your clips of MCC glitches and stuff if you want to help me out on my next video. There you guys go. I'll see you guys later.